If you are speaking publicly about struggles with your mental health, you deserve respect for your honesty. But if the struggles with your mental health are born of shame and guilt at what you have done and what you have inflicted, then it serves nobody to turn away from the consequences of the things you feel shameful and guilty about. It's the closest some of these people are ever going to come to admitting their shame and their guilt, to speak about the terrible toll that it's taken on them. You heard Brexit hardman Steve Baker do it earlier this week in strange circumstances, but I will stress again, it must be respected when people speak honestly about their mental health. You saw how disgustingly Meghan Markle was treated by some elements of the British media. You must never come down to their level. But neither do you look away from what people like Steve Baker have done to this country. And then I turn your attention back to today's Daily Mail, where Sarah Vine, a key weapon in the Daily Mail's disgusting arsenal of abuse, its depictions of so-called Remainers were as dishonest and as deceitful as they were dangerous. She today dedicates an entire page to asking you to feel sorry for her because of what Brexit has done to her life. Imagine marching behind Paul Dacre into the Brexit battle. Imagine being one of the key elements of the Daily Mail's attack upon normality and truth under Paul Dacre's dismal editorship. Just imagine that. Imagine having your face appearing on the front page of a newspaper that has headlines or front page splashes including the dread phrases, enemies of the people or crush the saboteurs. Have a look at what has happened to some of the people on that side of British politics subsequently and tell me in what possible circumstances you will accept Sarah Vine's invitation this morning to feel sorry for her. So that's two of them now. That's Brexit hardman Steve Baker and the sort of leading Daily Mail columnist looking at the carnage of the Brexit that they cheered and championed to the point of it unleashing appalling abuse on people dedicated to explaining the truth. And they're now asking for your sympathy. They're asking for your compassion. Brexit cost me friendships and my marriage. I pray Rishi can finally end this uncivil war. A Daily Mail columnist asking for you to display common decency towards her for the consequences of a political decision she spent the last 7 years cheering to the rafters. It's right up there with Steve Baker, expressing really nothing but sympathy for himself in the context of the consequences of what he was key in inflicting upon the population of this country. It's actually, you can tell by my voice, it's actually incredible. I have spent some years extolling the virtues of the following phrase: contempt for the conmen, compassion for the conned. One of the maddest moments of my life probably involves standing on a stage in Parliament Square, looking out at a sea, reportedly 1 million, I don't think there was that many, looking at 1 million people and countless banners reflecting that catchphrase back to me. Just this, gob on a stick on the radio, trying to come up with a way of marshalling anger and making sure it was pushed in the right direction. 03456060973 is the number you're going to need. How do we make sure the anger goes in the right direction? Don't get cross with your mum. Get cross with Jacob Rees-Mogg. Don't get cross with your Uncle Keith. Get cross with Boris Johnson. Don't get cross with your nan. Get cross with Sarah Vine. How do you focus the righteous fury that everyone should feel about what these true saboteurs have done to our country? Easy. You remember to distinguish between con man or con woman and con victim. Contempt for the con man, compassion for the conned. So what the flip do you do when it's the con men asking you for your compassion? I genuinely don't know. I feel a little bit troubled that my natural reservoirs of compassion appear to have run dry for these kinds of people. I feel nothing but sympathy for Steve Baker's mental anguish, but the causes of his mental anguish, I don't know where you even begin to articulate the fury that the rest of us feel about at what people like that have done to our country. So what do you do? Give me your advice. Let's do it this way round. Okay? If you, like me, subscribe to the notion that you should feel contempt for the con man, but compassion for the conned, and without really realising it, you've adopted that position from a place of not really wanting to feel contempt for anyone. It's not a comfortable place to go to. It's almost an example of coming down to the level of the people of whom you disapprove, but occasionally it's permitted. Contempt for the con man, compassion for the conned. I think we're seeing the beginning of a process under which a number of deeply narcissistic people are going to start asking you to feel compassion for them as a consequence of the impact of the Brexit they wanted and they used to attack countless other people finally coming home to roost. So how do we do it? They're feeling sorry for themselves. Should we be feeling sorry for them? My God, they're feeling sorry for themselves. Oh, poor me. Poor me. I pray Sunak succeeds so as individuals and as a nation we can put this civil war behind us. Show me the letter you've written to Paul Dacre objecting to his Crush the Saboteurs front page or his Enemies of the People front page. You work for an organ that did more to foster the hatreds that have torn this country apart than any other institution in the United Kingdom. And now you're asking us to feel sorry for you? And there's my problem.